cash pile now, as of September 30th, stands at 2.4 billion. Is there some fear that this will deplete soon? And is this also partially why you had the rights issue recently?
Yeah, if you look at our cash and negotiable instruments of deposit, it's about 2.5 billion at the end of September, which is a fairly comfortable level for us. If you look at our cash balance, historically we've always targeted a cash balance of between 2 to 2.5 billion.
Okay.
So we're about at the upper end of our targeted cash balance.
Yes.
However, as you're aware, we have actually gone into quite a big refleeting exercise.
Yes.
So we have ordered the 737-800 aircraft, and that starts coming in at the end of next year.
That's right.
Less than a year from now. We have yesterday announced the new A330 order.
Yes.
That comes in 2011.
Right.
We've taken on the A380 that also comes in 2011,
Right.
which takes care of the short haul, medium haul, and large long haul fleets. And all those aircraft orders will require that we make pre-delivery payments, which are installment payments. So it's like if you buy a house, you have to pay for start paying for the house before the house is ready.
Yes.
Except in aircraft, you can't finance the aircraft until you receive the aircraft.
Okay.
Unlike housing loans where you could finance it up front. So we're actually having to pay out the installment payments for these aircraft well before the aircraft gets delivered.
I see.
So that will deplete our cash flow, and it will certainly start depleting our cash flow next year.
Right.
And that's one of the reasons why we've decided to do this rights issue. Even though 2.4 billion is actually a very comfortable level, when we did our multi-year projections, we did see that our cash levels and our gearing levels will come under pressure, particularly as we start paying more pre-delivery payments and we start financing more of these aircraft.
I see.
So rather than have uncertainty between our shareholders and so on, in terms of having high gearing levels and so on, we thought we'll announce it up front, we'll do a rights issue now. Everyone knows why we're doing the rights issue.
Yes.
And plan it for the future so that everyone knows what to expect, everyone knows what will happen to our cash levels and to our gearing levels, and that everyone's comfortable that we've looked into all this and that we're not reckless in terms of ordering aircraft that we don't know how to finance.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit how you're going to allocate the 2.67 billion proceeds from the rights issue? Not all will be to pay for the plane. Some will be for working capital, some will be for bank borrowings?
Yes. A portion of it will be for the aircraft. The rest of it will be for working capital. But even that working capital will be, a lot of it will be used for planes. Because as I said earlier, we still need working capital to fund the installment payments.
Right.
Yeah. So typically, say if you have to pay about 50% of the price up front, you are only able to finance it when the aircraft is delivered. So even if you finance 80% of the aircraft price, you still need to come up with 50% of it up front, and actually then you get the money back when you finance the aircraft. So you'll need a certain level of working capital to fund the aircraft.
I see.
So a lot of it is actually to do with aircraft financing, although of course a certain portion of it will be for other projects that we've got on as well.
I see. Okay. Existingly, you've got about 81 planes in your present fleet, which is all being leased. And come 2016, if all goes well, you add another 66 new planes. So can you give us an idea what your fleet size will be like at the end of that period, 2016?
It really depends. The way we've ordered the aircraft, we've allowed for a lot of flexibility. So the 737 order, we ordered 35 firm and 20 options.
Yes.
For the recent 330 order, we've ordered 15 firm plus 10 options.
Okay.
So what that allows us to do is that if we exercise all the options, we actually have quite a lot of room for growth.
Yes.
But in a worst case scenario, say the economy doesn't recover in 2010 as expected, doesn't really recover in 2011 and even 12, how we can do it is that the new aircraft will come in just as a one-for-one replacement for the existing aircraft.
Okay.
So it is possible to have a scenario where in 2012 we still have 81 aircraft.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, and there's absolutely no growth whatsoever, and all we get are cost reductions associated with the change in fleet.
I see.
However, that's not the scenario that we're looking at. Right. We do have options. So we are able to exercise those options. So if the economy is, as we expect, starts recovering, then we'll be in a good position where we have ordered extra aircraft and we are able to capitalize on that by actually adding growth to the fleet.
So anyway, Tengku, it's been nearly a year, I think, since you took over from Datuk Idris Jala. How has it been like? Do you miss having him around?
Actually, it feels like a year, but it's only been just over 3 months.
Oh.
It's been quite recent. Well, I've worked very closely with Idris when we both joined Malaysia Airlines towards the end of 2005. Okay. It was always our plan that perhaps Idris would have stayed a bit longer than he had. Right. But I absolutely understand the calling to serve the country was too strong for him. When he left, I did wish him all the luck, because I said, now, as opposed to Malaysia Airlines and its passengers benefiting, it is now the whole country that can benefit, particularly with all the programs that the government's doing. I do still keep in touch with Idris every now and then. I last saw him last week when the government unveiled all the different government transformation programs. I had a chat with him in terms of the process of how they came up with the numbers, how they came up with the initiatives, the presentation of it, and sort of what we call in MAS the managing coalitions part of it. So he's really taken a lot of the methodologies that he's used in Malaysia Airlines to apply that to a government context.
Yes.
Yeah.
So is your working style similar to Idris? And do you find that it's really hard to fill his shoes?
Everyone's different,
yeah.
And each person has a particular way of doing things that will be different from person to person.
Yeah.
So my style isn't exactly the same as Idris. However, we do share quite similar ideas.
Right.
So we were both involved very heavily in the business turnaround plan, and we were both very heavily involved in the business transformation plan.
Right.
So in terms of the ideas, in terms of the things that we wanted to do, we're both pretty much in the same mind in terms of what we need to do and why we need to do it.
Right.
So very similar on ideas. We may be a little bit different in terms of style, in terms of how we execute it, but that's, no two human beings are alike.
That's right.
But that doesn't mean that our ideas are different, which is one of the reasons in terms of when I looked at the things that we need to do, there hasn't been a lot of radical changes, mainly because I was also very heavily involved in the business transformation plan. Right. It is something that I had believed in and I continue to believe in. Okay. So with or without Idris, that will continue.